Well, hello, beautiful people of the world and YouTubers. This is my 4R70W transmission. It's out of an Expedition. It is a it's a 4.6 engine, and they also have a 5.4 engine. I had to pull it out, and I put a torque converter in. It's been running great. Took care of the stalling, but about 3 or 4 days ago, after we had fixed it, had been running pretty good, and came up to a light, made a U-turn, started to take off, and we lost all forward gears. We got reverse, and no noise really. So with reverse, it goes into reverse and backs up okay. So I know the torque converter is okay, and I also know the front pump's okay, because if the front pump was out, I wouldn't have reverse. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. I'm not going to do a complete teardown, but I am going to go ahead and pull the front pump out, and I am going to go in here and tear into this thing, into this transmission, try to find out what might have happened. One tip is, if you're going to do one of these transmissions, maybe try to fix it. A good thing is to do, if it's not shifting any weird, if it shifts okay, what I'm trying to say is, excuse me there, a little dry out here today. What I was going to say is, if your transmission is shifting okay, I typically don't bother with the valve body, because you can open up a big can of worms by getting into this valve body and messing up things. So I typically don't mess with the valve body, although I may pull it apart and just kind of clean it and check the gasket and put it back together. But since this transmission was shifting great, we just lost all forward gears, and I really think probably some of the clutches got burned up, or a seal has gotten torn. Long story short, that over there you see is a brand new torque converter that was in it, so it quit stalling. That was our issue earlier. It still shifted fine. It just would stall out. So we put that in there and ran it for 4 or 5 days, and lo and behold, it just kind of didn't want to shift on us no more. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start pulling this front pump off, and I've got some tools kind of set up here. And it's not too bad to work on this transmission. If you've done a little research, it's a pretty simple transmission to work on. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and take these bolts out of the pump. There's 3, 6, or 7 of them. And I've got my, to make it a little faster, I'm going to use my, my tool here, electric gun. By the way, it's a brand new seal in the pump. It didn't leak a bit, bone dry. It just decided not to shift. And part of this is my fault. Part of this is my fault, because when I had this transmission out, I should have went ahead and pulled the pump and kind of went in there and looked around, but I was kind of in a hurry to get it fixed and get it back on the road, so this is partially my fault. So lesson learned: if you get a transmission all the way out, you might as well just tear it down and check things. You never know what might be getting bad, especially the seals in these pistons that push the gears, the clutches together, and some of those pistons in the transmissions, they like to tear and go bad. So you got to kind of check those. And if you want to know how to take this transmission out, you have to go back and look at some other videos. I have videos of how to actually do that. So I got all my bolts out here just about, except for one. Alright. Now on this transmission, when you get all the pump bolts out, if you look closely, if I zoom in here, I don't want to get my camera too dirty today. There's a bolt, right there where that hole is. If you look closely, you can see it's got threads on it. I usually take another bolt, put in that one, and on the one right down there that has the threads on it, if you can see that. I'm shooting in high definition, so hopefully the camera will do its thing today. And you can typically just kind of put a couple bolts in there and just pull this pump out. And I usually just use a hammer. Let me go ahead and find a couple bolts. And by the way, these are all just little 10mm bolts that hold that pump in there. Alright, now I've got a couple of bolts there. I've got a bunch of bolts there. I've got buckets of bolts, and I keep everything, so this makes it nice. Now what I want to do, I've got one right here. I think you can see that. Right there. And I got one right here kind of screwed in. I'm going to take my hammer and just kind of yank on this pump until it comes out a little bit. You don't have to do too much pulling or banging. And there it is. Now, I can tear this down to a point. Then after I get back to the, I think it's the first set of bands, or maybe the second, I will have to turn it over and take the valve pan off and pull out one of the servos, because one of the servos holds the one of the bands in there in that transmission. But I just want to tear it down slowly here until I find what happened. So we'll go ahead and take these screws out. Bolts, I should say. I know the difference between screws and bolts. Sometimes my mind doesn't tell my mouth that. And there's what I'm just using, just a couple of bolts. And I'll go ahead and pull this pump out. And hopefully I won't have to replace the gasket. Okay. And there's basically the front pump. I think you can see that there. I'll hold it back a little bit, and the gasket's in really good shape. But I may tear down into this a little bit later, but right now, for video purposes, I just want to slowly see what happened to this thing. But I do know this pump is working. I will set it off the side. And also, you got a spacer right there. Don't lose that. So we'll set this over here for now. I almost forgot. Also, when you take this out, check all your seals. You got a couple seals right there, and you got this one up here. You got one there, and mine look okay. All four of them. I think you can sit there. All right. Come back. Come back. All right, now, set the camera in here. There. Now we're down to this set of clutches right here. Now, on this particular transmission, it's got supposedly it has a pen in there. It kind of keeps us from clanking, but I really don't see one on this one. Huh, well, that's interesting. So we'll go ahead and pull these clutches out here and see what we got. I'm gonna have to get a pick. All right, we'll go ahead and pull these steel plates out. I got a little pick here. It makes it a little bit easier, especially when you got transmission fluid all over your hands. And pull these out. So I don't know. These could be bad. I'm not sure what this all of a sudden lost all the forward gears. But we'll check these. Their clutches are really good. They look good there. Pressure plates look good. So these are in excellent condition. I see absolutely nothing wrong. Alright, so we'll set these over here. This side. Like that. A lot of times transmission work is just detective work. You got to be your own detective and just kind of go in and look at things. Alright, now, here is this band. I may actually be able to pull this next clutch pack out without taking that band, without taking anything off on the valve body right now, because I don't feel like flipping it over. And your one-way sprag clutch, I believe that's what it's called. Alright, so let's see. Let me get a screwdriver. Alright, actually what I'm going to use is a pair of long needle nose. I got these at the farm store, probably for $5. These are nice. And actually fix the end of them in case I need to grab on anything. I got little hooks on the side. I'm actually wrong. I can actually get this band out without taking the servo out. You can see the servo pin there, which is down the valve body. So I can continue here. It looks like I can take some of this other stuff out. Alright, there's the front band. That thing looks like it's in excellent shape. Looks in really good shape. See nothing wrong there. we'll stick that off to the side. And now we can go ahead and pull out this whole assembly here, which is the reverse, and I'm not sure if it's the forward drum, but I know it's the reverse, partially the reverse drum. Also, look at your bushings here. Make sure there's no bad places in them, cut places. So we'll go ahead and see if we can get this out. Oh, that was too easy. All right, there's the first forward drum. And let's see. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and I want to make sure you guys can see this. So I need to set this up where you can see it. I need to get something to set this on. Right here. This is trial by error, folks. Let me make sure the camera's zoomed down. So we'll go ahead and take this out here. Alright. Set this up. Pull the first pack off. Alright. Looks pretty good there. And I don't see anything burnt there. But what I'm going to do, both of these have inside, once you take these clutches out and everything, you push down on this spring, and there's a piston in here. They have seals. They can blow out and cause the same issue. Same thing with this. So that's what we're going to be doing next, but I'm happy this came out pretty good so far. I don't see anything that's obvious in the transmission. Let me zoom in a little bit more. I'm not going to take too much apart because I'm going to have to start categorizing this, logging it. Alright, let's see, we got that out. See, this is out, that goes in like that. Now we'll take this out. Take out the, check all your little bearings. I have to make sure you can see that. Check all your little bearings, make sure they're okay. Everything here looks like it's in excellent shape so far. I got a feeling it probably blew a seal, piston seal. Now at this point, I really can't take out anything else, I don't think, because you see this pin here? If you can see in there, I'll zoom in a little bit. There's a couple pins. There's one right here and here. To take this next piece out, it's going to hit that. So I don't think we'll take out this. It looks, oops, that looks okay. Maybe I can get it out. Well, actually I can. I just made a liar out of myself. See, I was worried about there's some servos in the bottom of the valve body that come up, and they have pins that kind of come up on the bands, and a couple of the little bands in the back. That's what I was worried about. But it looks like I might be able to get most of this out without taking those pins out for now. Alright. Sun shell gear. I need to pan back a little bit. Alright. Sun shell gear. Check the bearing here. So far, everything in this transmission looks excellent. I don't get it. And what I'm doing is I take it out, everything out, I'm putting everything back in together so there's no confusion of how it goes back together later. I will put it over here and lay it out later and kind of have an idea where everything is. And let's see. Well, I think I can take the... I think we can get some more out here. There's a clip here that comes out pretty easy that holds this second band in. It comes out real easy. Take it out. I will tell you this. There was a time I said to myself I would never touch transmissions. One day, I started working on them, and the more I started working on them, the more I got to know. And unless I found out they were, I should say the more I found out they weren't that complicated. So it's really strange how you'll start working on something and find yourself a few years later down the road thinking to yourself, no big deal. Just, you know, trust me, some things aren't as hard as it seems. Alright, so now we got this out, this little spring-like thing. It's kind of interesting. It's got these little tabs there, right here. You can actually grab with your fingers like that and kind of lift it out. So I'm going to set this on the back of the hub on the bottom here so we'll know where it's at. Our piece here, which is pretty important, I'll have to set the camera in here. Up on the top, there is a spring. Zoom in here. I think you can, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. I'll let the camera focus a little bit better. But there's a spring right there. I think you can see that. Be very careful not lose that. When you pull that out of there, make sure it goes back in the same way. That spring is to keep, when you put it in gear, in drive, it keeps it from clanking, the transmission making a clanking noise. So we've got to take that little spring out, and I'll show you what that looks like. So let me put the camera back over here. And also, this is a good video for me to go back and reference things. So let me grab a, let's see, probably just grab some needle nose here. Okay, gotcha. And there it is. Very important to put this back in. If you don't put it back in, you'll end up getting clanking noises when you put it in gear. So I'm going to set that down there. And now we got this big shell. I don't know how far I'm going to be able to go before I have to stop and start taking out a couple of those smaller things on the bottom of the valve body. But we'll go ahead and see if we can get this out. Since I'm on a roll, let's see, I'm going to have to kind of tap it there, loosen it up a little bit. See, by me turning that proves that you got to have something in there to keep it from moving around. That's what they have that spring in there for. And let's see if we can get this out. It's out, and it looks like this is about as far as I can go, because if you notice right there, you see that pin there? It's catching that, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get that out. So what that means is I'll have to stop the video, flip it over, go ahead and just take the servo pin out right here so I can slide the rest of this out. This is just an anchor pin right there, so don't worry about that top one. Right there, that's just an anchor pin, don't worry about it, it's fixed. You can get everything out past that, but I've got to now go ahead and get that piece out. And I don't think I'll be able to get it past that. I'll try it real quick, just for the heck of it. Nope. So, good news is so far, I haven't found anything bad. Now, the way I have everything kind of set up here, I'm going to kind of lay it out over there on my little cloth and just start tearing the tear it into it and see if I can find something that's bad. So, I'll give you guys an update later. But that's how it comes out at this point. And when you get back to the far back, when you go to take this last spring out, this is about as far as you can go, because of that piece right there hitting on that anchor pin. So I'll be back here a little bit later and give you an update of what I've done so far. Maybe if I can figure out what's going on with this transmission, why it's well, we don't have any forward gears. Well, hello kids. Kind of late tonight. I figured I'd come back out here and tinker with my transmission a little bit more. And I did find out what was wrong with it. Where I'd stopped the video earlier, I'd pretty much pulled out everything back to the one piece there that I couldn't get out. And sorry about the lighting, but it's still in there. So I decided what I already had out was the forward clutch and reverse clutch pack. So I went ahead and disassembled the front clutch pack. And to disassemble this, it's got a really big spring here you got to compress, and you got this little clip here you have to kind of push down on and get to release and all that. And I have a press over there. It makes it a little bit easier for me to do certain things. But so I pulled out the piston, and you remember earlier I said I thought it was going to be a seal somewhere that was bad, and lo and behold, here it is, and there's the seal, and look at that tear right there. This is why I did not have any forward gears. So I'm going to have to find a seal or another piston for the forward clutch pack. And, let's see, that was the only thing I could find. And, let's see, here were the clutches. They're pretty good. A couple of them were kind of hot. And that was probably because when I had started having issues with it, I was giving it a little too much gas, and they were slipping. So I'm just going to replace these. I actually have some clutch packs here laying around for this. Now, that was the front piston. Like I said, it was bad. Now, I took out the reverse. I just finished it up. I pulled it apart. And let me sit down here. And here is the piston. Now, of course, this one's a lot easier to take off. You just got some snap rings, and you just start pulling it apart. And there's no spring on this one to worry about. And you go in here. I have a compressor, which is sitting there, and a little blowgun. This piston here, sometimes it's a little difficult to get out. What you have to do is go on this side, and there's a couple of air holes right there. Push about 40 pounds of air or so in it, and take your finger and hold over the secondary hole on the opposite side, and that will blow this piston right out. Now, I checked this piston. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's in great shape. No tears. I even checked the inner one. It looks good, and I don't see anything wrong there, so I think I'm going to be okay. Now, I'm just going to have to go ahead and order a new gasket. If I can even get a gasket, I'm going to have to go online tonight and look for this forward clutch. Now, I've had this problem, and my other Ford Explorers and Mountaineers, the forward gears, they would start slipping, and usually it's got a small tear in it, and they will start to go bad. Let me put this under the light just a little bit better for you. Sorry about that. There we go. I think you can see that, and you can see where it's torn. So I had my suspicions, and I was right. And there's the inner one. I think you can see that there. It looks like it's in really good shape. But if I can find the seal kit, I may just go ahead and buy it and replace this whole thing. I know it's got 2 clutch packs here. I think there's one more in that transmission. I will probably pull out tomorrow and just double check. And that way, if I do get a gasket kit for the clutch pack, I'll just replace them all. And I can't find nothing else wrong. Everything else seems to be okay. And let's see. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I need to take this back out. That goes over here. And here is the unit that it sits down in. And it was pretty clean. As soon as I pulled these clutches out of this, lifted the clutches out, I saw black stuff in there and pieces of plastic, rubber gasket, and I knew right away that was bad. Okay, so there we go. Pretty excited about that. My neighbor's going to be pretty excited to find out there's nothing major wrong with his transmission. Well, to me it's nothing major, but to him it is. So I'll go ahead and order a gasket, and I'll think what I'll do tomorrow. It'll probably take a couple days to get this gasket here. I will go ahead and see if there's another clutch pack in there. I'll research online tonight. I can't remember because I do so many different transmissions now and then. It's hard to keep this straight in your head, you know. When you get old like me, it's kind of hard to remember everything. So I will go ahead and take this apart tomorrow, and we'll look at it and see what we can find.